Just a couple of silly friends talking about serious stuff.
Hello again. It's the season finale of season 2, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. This is not what I was expecting. Two friends react to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I'm Enough.
And I'm Edward, and I can't wait to see how this episode ends.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Can't
a
wait
good
to see you
hard
react to this.
Ooh, pressure. I'm nervous now.
Oh, sorry.
No. So in the last episode, sorry, go ahead.
And we're already getting some recommendations rolling in for things to watch. I am also very excited to see what people want us to watch next.
Yeah. Watch, or as I said, we're even discussing potentially doing a gaming side of the channel. I am a massive gaming nerd, and I wear that badge proudly.
I'm trying to remember if we've ever gamed together before.
No.
Other than, yeah, okay.
No, we haven't. We just never really had the opportunity.
Yeah, I grew up gaming. I don't know if you know, my dad owned one of the first video game companies that existed in the early 80s. So I grew up hardcore gamer.
That's so cool. I had no idea.
Playing parties at like the age of 8.
Wow. You see, audience, like we've known each other for like 12, 13 years, and we're still learning things about each other. That's so cool. Okay. So last episode was the wedding prep. Rebecca lost her mind, as she is wont to do about lots of things, until Valencia swooped in and saved the day, and Valencia is planning her dream wedding for Rebecca, which is wild. And as I said at the end of the last episode, I'm not sure. I didn't love the fact that Josh's story, which seemed pretty major, his hesitance, the fact that he didn't get anything he wanted, including his green tux, which I thought looked pretty good, and his weird connection with his fellow, church basketball counselor. I forget her name. Forgive me. And that was kind of glossed over. Sarah. It was kind of glossed over. So is that the end of it, or is something going to happen in this episode? I don't know. I don't know.
He did get his cranes.
He did get his cranes, but that's only because. Also, are they going to be in the final wedding? Because the cranes were Sasha and Dustin's thing, not Valencia's thing.
Who knows?
You've seen it.
I don't remember anything.
So I guess let's just get into it and see what happens. Season 2, episode 13. Can Josh take a leap of faith?
I don't know.
Hey, Dad. Rebecca Bunch here. Since you're in SoCal right now for my wedding, figured I should give you a buzz. Be able to breakfast? What evs?
So relatable.
Texts their dad like that. I mean,
people are insecure.
Well, it's more. That's the way I text my friends. Like the style of text. Like that was such a young person to young person text. I don't know.
Yeah, I think to me it comes off as her trying to be super chill, so her dad doesn't feel any pressure from her.
Of course, it just
no need.
It ended up. Yeah. Oh yes, in last episode, I forgot the scene where Paula basically tears into Rebecca's mom made me so happy. For those who watched last episode, you saw what that did to me. So I just wanted to take a moment, a Paula appreciation moment.
Totally. Over the weekend, Somebody gifted me a mini donut maker.
Oh yes, you sent me pictures, and I can't wait.
Paula, I'm marrying Josh Chan. What quote are you going with? Love is patient, love is kind. Darkness, darkness, darkness will be avoided. Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. Some flowers by evil, evil, evil. If you anagram the letters, it spells fail.
So I really like metal, not screaming metal, but in general I really like metal. So that was a lot of fun for me. Rachel Bloom has a surprisingly decent metal voice. I wasn't expecting that. I guess the sort of raspiness of her voice lends to that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was my favorite song, but it's a cute idea.
Yeah, the execution wasn't great. I would have preferred if there was more like of a set where they're like on in a metal band, like with like maybe like metalized bride paraphernalia type thing, or like a wedding dress, but like metal. Because
Yeah.
the camera work and the actual music video was
Yeah, it kind of felt like a rushed execution to me. Like they had a cute concept, but it just didn't get a chance to get fully fleshed out.
yeah, I agree. Oh, I have Spaceballs the
The
mug.
mug.
I saw this at Comic-Con and was like, yes, I have to own Spaceballs the mug.
Cute.
Okay. From metal into baby talk, why not?
Hey, baby metal's a thing.
It is. It is. And even though I'm not a fan of his music, Rob Zombie defending baby metal against male metal fan gatekeepers. I don't know if you guys have seen that Instagram post. But there's an Instagram post where like he poses in a picture with some baby metal artists, and people are like, "What are you doing, Rob? That's not real." And he's like, "Dude, shut up. They're more hardcore than any of you." That was awesome.
Nice.
I'm so excited that my dad's coming. God, when he walks me down the aisle, it might heal things between us.
Her idea that she believes that just walking down the aisle will heal things is very much something that I know people in real life have thought things similar about the relationships with parents or siblings, that, oh, this one thing will heal and then we'll cry and it'll be beautiful, because that's what TV has taught us. And I actually hate when TV episodes do that. It's like, oh, clearly, maybe not straight up abusive, but like neglectful father, bad parent, still being bad parent, but child is now an adult, so child makes the overture to repair the relationship, and by the end everything's wonderful. And you see it all the time in media, and it's always the kid making the effort. And that's like in Bob's Burgers, there's an episode, I love Bob's Burgers, I rewatch it all the time. There's an episode I skip every time, and it's Father of the Bob. And it's because you see repeatedly, like, they're through flashbacks, that Bob's dad, also Bob, is awful. Just he is so critical. He's just unpleasant and miserable to be around. And of course, Linda forces Bob to try to reconcile, and then someone else comes in, and like when Bob finally basically gives it to his dad and says, like, what the hell? Like, not okay. This is not okay. He's the one forced to go apologize. And that makes me so angry, because no, it's even though they're both adults, it's still, in my opinion, like the father was always the adult in the relationship. They can make the first move, because no matter how grown up you are, there's often still this dynamic where you're still the kid. I actually like how Brooklyn Nine-Nine handled that with Jake's dad. There was no reconciliation.
I haven't
Jake's
seen
dad
it.
was, oh, okay. Now, I don't think we're going to get a happy be everything okay here episode, because that's not what this show does, but I'm really curious to see what they do with this dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think this is the version of Rebecca Bunch he's going to stick around for.
She has to change for him.
Yeah,
Going
everything is
back,
about how she feels so unworthy of him in his eyes, at least.
not just with her dad, but she, in the first season especially, she changed for Josh, she changed for Greg, she changes for men. And we're seeing that happen now. And now we're like, oh, we're like, we've already known she had issues with her dad, but this is the first time we're seeing, like, she literally says, this is the version of Rebecca he can like.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh, okay. So a lot of these issues with men and with her need to always have a man in her life and to change for the men, it's clear where a lot of this, like that line is like, if it wasn't obvious before, it is now. Like she's still chasing her dad's approval in the form of men in general.
Here we go. Love to see you today, but have work calls. So no can do. See you at rehearsal dinner. And he's not going anywhere. He's here for my wedding. You know, he's not gonna abandon me. Just like you're not gonna.
Oh no.
I'm excited and happy and content and excited. This is what happy feels like.
She looks happy.
Oh, Robert.
You just called me Robert.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Wait, what? Did we ever see anything about Robert before? Was she engaged before? When she would have been like 20 or 21, I guess, right? Like 7 years ago. And this season 2, and yeah, she's like when she was like 20. I'm surprised the fact that she was engaged before has never come up before now. You have nothing to say because anything you say would be spoilers.
Yeah.
I appreciate the discretion. Mwah. All right. Oh man, this is getting like we're all of 6.5 minutes in and already like, wow. Okay.
Fucking skeletons.
You know what? I'm sorry. I was thinking about work. We have a new client named Robert, Julia Roberts.
Oh no. I love his facial expressions. The actor, he does such a good job with his facial acting.
I'm just so excited. And as Rebecca's boss and mentor and White Josh's main squeeze, I feel
White Josh.
it's your couple name. Rajashika. It's your bunch.
We started with something more complicated and whittled.
Best of luck to the very lucky couple.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Why, Joe? Be nice.
I love White Joe, but he could just try being supportive sometime.
The single mom investigating water contamination.
Oh no.
That's the plot to Aaron Brockovich.
Oh, yeah.
My mom is so excited about the wedding. Bought a great dress.
Oh.
Burgundy A-line. Very tasteful. She's a winter. Little snowflake.
I love Josh, but those are the last two people who should be getting married. I don't know. Just not big into marriage in general, you know that.
No, I don't know that.
Oh no, tension. Oh no. That is a conversation that should be had at some point and not just come out like that. Like, it's fine to not want to get married, but a couple things with that one from my perspective. Number one, like, I've been in Josh's shoes, White Joe's shoes, in terms of like someone I know getting married before they're ready, or to someone I'm not so high on. And at the end of the day, I don't want to be a dick about it. Like, they're going to do it regardless of what I say. And unless it's like a straight up abusive situation or someone's like a racist or something like truly awful where I cannot support it, I'm going to still be kind and supportive. And even if I think it's going to end in tragedy, I'm still going to like do my best to be supportive and kind. So like, I love White Joe. I've expressed this many times throughout these videos, but Not cool, dude. Not cool. And also, like, I understand, like, not everyone's cool with marriage. That's fine. Personal choice, whatever works for you. But if you're at a bachelor party, don't be a dick about marriage. Come on, White Joe. Be better. And also, Daryl and White Joe are going to have a conversation.
Yeah. I've also been in the situation where you think that the person you're with knows things about you that they don't. And that's uncomfortable.
Especially when it's
Like,
something as big as, like, your view on a massive life decision.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's one
I've
thing
been
if
on
you
both
learn
sides of that.
of that specific thing, or about the knowing.
Of the big life decision. As far as the not the getting married thing specifically,
Okay.
but like things like having kids or gender identity or sexuality or like big ticket items that are just somehow not communicated through
Oh, and it's not a
years
question
of
of, like,
dating.
someone figuring out who they are. It's just they just never communicate.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. Because there's one thing about, like, learning something about someone. It's like, oh, they have this opinion that I really don't agree with, but it's not necessarily something that would have come up in the context of a relationship. It's like we all have things
Yeah.
that we feel strongly about, but I feel like marriage, which is directly related to a relationship, marriage, kids, to some degree, sexuality, identity, like, that's kind of important and something that should be discussed, as opposed to just, like,
Yeah.
opinions on certain, like, not like movies, but like important things, but like things that might not come up until they come up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird how you can get really far on assumptions
Mm-hmm.
based on how you see the world and what you want for your life, and just
Well, it's
the
also,
desire for that to be the same with your partner.
it's also like, oh, this person has always been a bit, like, for example, I'm somewhat pulling this from life, mostly just sort of making up an example. Like, oh, someone I'm dating, they're a genuinely kind person. They've never exhibited anything remotely racist or homophobic. Oh, but they think that using trans people's correct pronouns, or specifically in the context of, like, they them pronouns, it's just like, ugh, it's not fair. It's a lot of work for me. Why should I have to do that? It's like, unless you're directly dealing with a trans person or talking about trans issues that might not come up for a long time, and then,
Right.
like, oh, they are kind of transphobic, that sucks. So that hasn't happened to me in the context of a relationship. That happened to me in the context of someone I was speaking to, like, to potentially go on a date with, and then that comes up, and I'm like, oh, glad we dodged that bullet early on. But I could see how something like that could come in, like, 6 months in. Maybe it doesn't, like, come up specifically,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, oh,
Right.
they're kind of not good.
That's dope. Being a priest is dope. Hey, did you worry before you did that? Did Jesus ever give you any reason to, like,
Oh,
have
no.
doubts?
No. I felt at peace with my decision, man. I never questioned it.
God, that's great. That must have felt amazing.
It did. Balances out the fact that I don't bone.
Do you know a Robert? Like, anybody named Robert?
I personally don't know any Roberts.
Wait, so is Father Bras Catholic? Or are Catholics the only ones who don't get married? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Father-daughter dance? I get to dance with my dad, like, in front of everyone?
It's what people do.
Okay, getting married just gets better and better.
You mean the Westchester sperm machine? You know, every time you call him daddy, I get this barfy.
Can you please? It's my rehearsal dinner.
Right. Planned by your fiance's ex-girlfriend. Brilliant.
Where's Paula when you need her to keep her under control?
Seriously.
Tell the caterer these need to be hand buffed. This is a special day, not a freaking hootenanny.
What?
I'm the wedding planner. It's a long story. Don't ask.
Cringeworthy.
100%.
Oh, that was amazing.
But I just want to make sure that you don't, like, expect him to all of a sudden be, like, a totally different person.
I cherish our friendship more than anything, but you're so wrong. Like you're
Oh no.
Daddy! Daddy!
It's so hard to watch.
Yep. Cringeworthy, 100%.
Slam ball!
Oh my god.
I don't think she's actually sorry.
She's playing it so cool with him.
Oh, we haven't seen him in forever. Yay.
God.
Can I get a picture of this moment of just the two most important men in my life meeting?
Oh no.
Yay! Look at you guys by my side.
Oh no. My soul is hurting so much right now.
I'd love to catch up with you later. Have a drink, you know, you say some stuff, I say some stuff. I ask you questions, you answer them.
You mean a conversation?
Or an interrogation, you know, either way.
And where's your beautiful wife and your ugly son?
Oh, this is bringing back memories.
Oh no.
My parents are like this.
Yeah.
Oh my God. For you.
What's he?
Oh,
Yes.
one thing we forgot to mention during our little recap, and the recap didn't show, the very end of the last episode was Trent saying "over my dead body" when he found out. And I
Yeah.
was just reminded by the other conventionally attractive tall white man walking in that Trent is a thing in this. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what happens with Trent.
You know, Rebecca and I were talking about Robert the other day.
Who?
Robert, you know, from her past.
Oh, I can't say I remember him.
Oh, so I guess he wasn't that important. End
Do
of
know
problem.
that name.
Oh,
He had something to do
or
with that
not.
whole Harvard Law School thing.
Harvard Law? No, she went to Yale Law.
She got in, and something happened, and she went to Yale.
So she met this guy before she was even in university. Oh, so she
Yale
was
Law
young.
is a graduate school.
Right. Right.
I'm not supposed to know that name. Rebecca and her mother kept a lot of stuff from me.
So that's an interesting discussion, in my opinion. Do you owe a serious partner information in the past, like, you know, someone you might get engaged to? Do you owe them, is it not owe is the wrong word, but is it wrong to conceal from them information about like a former like fiance? Like, you don't have to tell them every bit of your dating history, of course, but like, I feel like a lot of people, if they found out, like if you say, yeah, I was engaged once, most people, if they really care about it, you'll be like, oh, okay, good to know, moving on. But if you don't tell them and then they find out, that's gonna, like, a lot of people will be cool with it if you tell them, but upset if they find out without being told. Now, that's a them problem, but like, that's just how so many people are, right? So I don't know, like, what do you think? And I'd love to hear what the audience thinks. Like, is it wrong to not share that kind of information?
I think it depends on the situation, the information, whether or not you think that is even relevant. But then you run into issues of, are you even the right person to determine if it's relevant? Because like Rebecca might not think this is relevant, but Josh might.
Yeah.
And does he have informed consent without that?
Yeah, and it's the type of thing like, oh, but if I tell him, then he won't want to be with me anymore. Then you two shouldn't be together. Like, that's all the more reason. Like, then if there's something about you that makes him, and maybe even if it's a thing that shouldn't matter, like your romantic past, but if it does, that's a person's choice to make if it matters to them, even if I personally don't think it should. So yeah, I'd love to hear what our audience has to say on this topic. I personally lean towards tell them, because like, if they can't handle, like, some people actively don't want to know about your past, and that's fine. But most people, I feel like most people would prefer to know if you were once engaged, like if it was once that serious. I personally don't care. I might find it interesting. I'd like to know about my partner's past, but not from a like, I need to know this affects how I feel about you way.
Right.
But
I mean, it
do
might be
think
nice to
it's-
know if there's like a pattern of getting engaged and then not following through or something like that's
Yeah, I would
relevant.
want to know if my partner had been engaged 4 times in the past. You know, I would certainly want to know if my partner was ever married before, just because that might be relevant in terms of like to know, like maybe something happens, someone comes back. I feel like that is just useful information to have. Not that it would affect if I want to be with someone, but it's just like I prefer to know that than find out about it on my own, you know, from someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's going to mention it.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, so yeah, Sarah is back.
You don't seem like your normal self.
Ah, I'm okay. Okay, fine. I'll tell you what's going on. My fiance has become a bit of an enigma. That means mystery.
Thank you for that.
I like her.
It's normal to feel like this right before you get married, isn't it? Isn't it normal?
You two are such a handsome couple.
Oh, ew.
But he thinks we're a couple. We're not a couple, but that's so funny. He thinks we're a couple.
Oh.
We're not a couple.
I hate this. Every time something like this happens, I'm reminded of the fact that Josh pulled her out of therapy with his proposal, and I get annoyed. Like, instead of this, she could be working through these issues.
What are some of the favorite times you've had together recently?
Recently?
Actually, there's something I've wanted to tell you since I got here.
I swear, if he asks for money, I'm gonna throw him in the bridge, off a bridge.
Fair.
I need to borrow some cash.
And there it is.
Yep.
There it is.
Fucking
Okay.
dirtbag.
Epic level dirt. That's just like,
I'm so.
she's back in therapy. Yes. Also, Dr. Copian's amazing.
Maybe now you can see that your father's behavior in the past has set a pattern for you, seeking the love of men who don't fully love you back, like other men, I'm sure.
Oh, Robert.
Oh, no.
You know how much I care about you, but
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, we can't see each other anymore.
He looks so much older than her.
I'm sorry.
You said that we were going to get married and that you were going to leave your wife? And I dropped out of your class. There's no conflict. Robert, no.
So she's having like full on like temporal time shifts.
What? No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. And you're not aware. That's called a dissociative episode.
Is that actually how a dissociative episode works? Like you literally like are different time and place?
Well, if you're not aware of what's happening, then you're dissociated.
Uh-huh. But does it manifest in the past like you literally are stuck in like a past memory? Is that a thing?
I would call that a flashback, personally.
Yeah.
But Dr. Copian doesn't know what's going on in her head.
Right.
He only
But
knows
no,
that
but
she's not aware that she's doing things.
I guess what I'm asking is, does that, forgive me, like genuine question, does that kind of thing actually happen to people where you basically like, you're in a past memory and don't realize it?
It can. Yeah, that's what PTSD can look like, what flashbacks can look like. Particularly for the more traditional PTSD. CPTSD, complex PTSD, will present a little bit differently, where your body and emotions will start reenacting how they felt in the moment of the trauma. So while you may not have hallucinations, your body is going through what it did at the time that you were traumatized. So your heart's racing and like things like that. You're panicking. So complex PTSD presents like that, which is a little bit differently. But both of those have dissociation associated with them. When I was going through therapy for the first time right after being diagnosed with complex PTSD, I would sometimes just find myself in rooms and holding things and have no idea like how I got there or what I'm doing.
Wow.
Which is not great. And that is a very serious sign of mental health issues. Like that is something that really needs to be addressed.
Yeah. And this is a good moment to remind everyone that we are not professional mental health people. We just are speaking from our own personal experiences.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's having full on like flashbacks or dissociated, like we don't know exactly, but golly.
Some kind of trauma is very much affecting her present state.
Also, it on the topic of like this scene, like her case in particular, like it doesn't surprise me to learn that Rebecca was once dating a professor, like with a power imbalance older, who had a wife. And I don't blame her for this. I want to be very clear. She is a young woman, like she's like 19, 20 here. She's almost a child, like, and she is being taken advantage of by an adult.
Yes.
She has done nothing wrong in this situation. So I want to just, for our, if we have some younger audience members or older audience members who've gone through something like this, I want to be very, very clear. If something like this happened to you or is happening, like this is not your fault, okay? The fault lies in the adult who is taking advantage. And for those, maybe this hasn't happened yet, if, for our younger audience members, no, he doesn't really think you're special. No, he doesn't really think you're mature for your age. No. And I know I keep saying he, it could be a woman as well taking advantage, but more commonly it's the other way. But I'm not going to sit here and say that every age gap relationship is a problem. But an age gap relationship with someone who's in their late 20s, 30s, and someone who's in their very early 20s or even late teens, it raises an immediate red flag for me. And, one of the things I look at, this is a separate discussion. I won't necessarily get into it here. If people want to discuss it in the comments, we can talk there. But yeah, just to reiterate, Rebecca was abused by this older professor who took advantage of a vulnerable child. And now Rebecca is suffering the consequences years later, while the professor probably is just either divorced by now because he's a piece of garbage, or is just living his life with his oblivious wife and is probably fine. Like,
yeah, he's probably not having flashbacks.
Yeah.
And dissociating.
So many shows and media play off these relationships, like younger, older relationships. Oftentimes it's when it's an older man and a younger woman, the woman is framed as the homewrecker, as the seducing the older man because, whoa, men can't resist. Men can resist. Plain and simply. I hate that narrative because it's also insulting to me. Like, I'm a man, I resist. I've, never taken advantage of a drunk person because I have self-control. I've never dated someone 15 years younger than me because I have self-control. Like, if I know something's wrong, I'm not going to do it. This idea that men can't control themselves is so harmful both to men and to women. And yeah, this is obviously a topic I have strong feelings about. We can pursue it again in the comments, but for now, I think we can move on and see where this goes for Rebecca.
We're gonna have a lot to talk about with this episode.
Yep.
What if my dad leaves before the wedding? I mean, he was kind of upset when I didn't agree to the loan. If I have to make him stay...
You can't make him do anything. Rebecca, wait, please. That was a good 8 minutes. We're really getting there.
I think that's an important lesson right there. I know it was just sort of shouted as she was running away, but you can't make people do things. You can't control how they react. People are like, well, I don't want to say this thing because they might react badly. It's like, well, if it's a thing that has to be said, you can't control how they react. And if they react badly, well, that's very telling. If they, yeah, you can't, all you can control is your own behaviors, and how people react is how they're going to react. How people are going to behave, like this. It's, well, if you don't give me the money, I'm going to leave. Oh, so I made you leave because I didn't give you the money. No. He chose to leave because he didn't get what he wanted. Well, that was his choice. You can't control that. That's something you often see in like more over the top things where the villain is like, hey, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to kill these people. Oh, you made me do it. Like, no. The hero did not kill those people. The villain did.
Look what you made me did is a classic abuser line.
Yeah. And you see it all the time in movies in more an exaggerated way, like, with a superhero fighting a villain or something like that. But as you said exactly, look what you made me do. I'm sure many of us have heard that at least once in our lives from someone we cared about, or that we thought cared about us. They chose to do that.
I feel like withholding the money until after the wedding would have been a great way to ensure her father shows up and is on his best behavior.
That's true. I mean, look, I'm not a fan of like holding something over someone, but in a case like this where the other person is kind of awful and has something you want, Oh, okay. Tell me when the nail filing is over.
Okay.
Pausing again, just to explain to our viewers. So some of you may know there's something called misophonia, where certain noises can trigger actual like physical, visceral reactions. And for me, nail files, especially emery boards, cause me literal discomfort. Like I feel like just waves of discomfort going through my body. Even to the point, it's so triggering that even seeing, like if I sit down and there's a nail file on the table in front of me, I will like nope. And I can't even pick it up to move it. I need like, ideally someone else can like move it away from me. It's a known thing in my family. You do not file if I'm in the house. You don't file your nails if I'm in the house, or you do it far away from me. Yeah. So the most like classic one is like the nails on the chalkboard is a common misophonic thing. But yeah, if you were looking for the word for why certain sounds have a particularly vicious reaction, I looked it up at one point, and if I remember correctly, something like 40% of people suffer from some sort of misophonia. So that's why I just had that reaction to that. I didn't like that. And it's such a harmless thing because like I want to go get my nails done at like a professional place, and I can't unless like, yeah. So anyway.
Hey, Naomi, who's Robert?
He was our dog. I named him after Redford.
Uh-huh.
I would not mention him to Rebecca. Makes her upset.
So is mom doing the right thing by protecting Rebecca by lying? Or should she like...
I feel like she's trying to protect her.
Yeah. You could argue whether or not this is the right thing, but it's nice to see her mom actually trying to protect her.
I'm sorry. I'm barging in. I'm sorry. Here are 14 Father's Day cards from all of the ones that I missed. Chocolates, shaving kit.
Oh, Rebecca.
I'm sorry that I was a needy kid who pressured you and drove you away. Here is a check for Tucker. Please stay. And maybe walk me down the aisle.
Honey, of course I'll stay.
Oh. No, you can't just start over. It's impossible to just start over when there's that much history and bad. It's one thing if it's someone relatively new in your life and you had a bad sort of, experience once or twice with someone, but like your parent, no, you're not just forgetting it.
You got a devious smile, do you know that?
I get that a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, I love his smile. It's so good.
Oh, I'm so happy. Josh is so happy. Today is such a happy day.
I know they're not like that important to the right now, but I wish we got more Valencia and Heather during the wedding setup. I think that could have been very entertaining.
Yeah.
It's looking like Josh might not take that leap of faith as hinted in the episode title.
Hey, you ready to go? That is some seriously mopey massaging.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yes, because people who are fine say I'm fine repeatedly.
I have questions about Rebecca, and I don't know if they're real questions or if I have the jitters.
Josh, if you have problems, she's the one you're gonna want to face them with, right? You know, I'm proud of you, Josh. I mean, usually when you get upset, you run to the nearest pretty girl, and you imagine that being with her is gonna solve all your problems.
Not so different from Rebecca.
So find Rebecca. Ask her your question.
Next scene, he's going to talk to Sarah. He's going to talk to Sarah in the next scene. Yep.
That is a beautiful venue.
Well, Rebecca.
Ooh, another song.
You've done it now. And finally I'll be the hero of my own story. It turns out magic exists. My daddy will love me, and my mommy will love me, and Josh will love me. I'll never have problems again.
Oh, Rebecca.
Hello, Joshua.
I love how the music changes when Trent shows up. You get the sinister music. Trent. That is not a fun name to say angrily. It's just such a boring name. Like,
Took me a while to find a big enough top secret stamp.
I appreciate a guy who goes out of his way to, craft nicely.
Robert and Harvard Law School and Yale Law School.
Maybe. Totally.
Dude's got worse social skills than I do.
What do I do? I know there's something bad in here.
And straight to pretty girl.
You called it. Yeah.
That was obvious. I mean, they were setting it up. It's not like I was like, ooh, I'm so smart. It's like, it was obvious.
Talk to her and get married. Everything's gonna be okay, silly.
Oh no.
I feel like if I could just stay here in this gym with you, all my problems would magically be fixed. Oh my God, I'm doing it.
Yes! Self-awareness! Self-awareness! I mean, he had to be smacked over the head with it by Father Bra, but self-awareness!
Oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Exactly what everyone tells you to do. Go talk to Rebecca.
I'm so proud of you. Oh, thank you, Mama.
Ugh. I thought you'd have someone here to do a blowout. I've got ocean hair. You really cheaped out, Rebecca.
I like that she has an actual mom friend.
Yeah. Chosen family.
How cute is this?
Don't ask me, I'm just a dumb cowboy who likes weddings.
I don't want to spend this entire wedding arguing about the concept of matrimony.
Okay.
I mean, they need to talk about it, but now is not the time.
Hey, Hector and Hector's mom. I really enjoy the podcast you guys do.
Ew!
Really toes the line between creepy and sweet. Thank you, hon.
Hey, you should see her when they play Brick House. She's a mighty. Huh?
Incredible.
Oh God, I didn't think they could get any creepier.
I can see you and hear you.
Just do what I tell you to do.
I like this side of Valencia. The like hard professional. Maybe this is her calling. She's found her calling. She couldn't, I love that.
Eagle is approaching. Eagle doesn't look that great. Hey, Josh. Okay, Eagle's not responding. And Eagle is gone.
I did not think this season was going to end in a marriage, I'll be honest. Like, something was going to happen. I didn't expect that something to be Trent, but Josh's insecurities, Rebecca's someone's issues were going to stop this from happening. And at the end of the day, it wasn't Trent. Trent gave him some ammo, but he's the one.
There's been a very, very slight delay.
Father Bra's talking to Josh, so it should all be just fine.
Oh, no.
What?
Her attempt at human comforting was not very good.
You're right. We don't need to get married. We should have a baby.
What's that?
Daryl.
Oh, no.
Sorry, I'm just so shocked.
Wait, what? That was what? That was Heather? What? What? That was amazing.
It's not what you think.
Is he going to Robert? So, what? What?
Father Rodrigo, I got the call. I want the cool t-shirt. Tell God I'm usually a size large.
Josh is leaving me to become a priest.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God. What? 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 Why? What? What? Where did that come from? There's been never... Oh, because then he doesn't have to make a decision if he gives... He's giving up all of his... He can't make a decision, so he's basically giving up his need to make a decision. Oh, no, 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 no. No, no, no.
I guess Josh isn't marrying this girl either.
100% not.
No, no, no.
Every man I've ever loved, they leave. Robert?
Who the dickens is Robert?
Don't come close to me, okay? Just don't take one step closer. No. Robert, you can't leave me. You can't leave me. We're meant to be. I love you.
Let yourself out.
Your Honor, she's just a girl in love. She can't be held responsible for her actions.
Furthermore, I will strike the conviction from your record, only if you agree to get appropriate mental help, Miss Budge.
I have no underlying issues to address.
She sings to herself all day. No one knows why.
It's my fault they don't love me.
No, stop. Stop it. You hear me? This is not your fault. And starting with your garbage father.
I've had enough of this. I don't need to stand around and be insulted.
Good. You should go. Go.
I love this shot. The four of them together, like that's who Rebecca needs in her life. Her friends to support her.
I never want to see you again.
Fine. You're crazy.
A little bit.
Where's your plane?
Oh, yeah, right.
I like this version of Nathaniel.
Because Josh Chan must be destroyed.
I did not expect that.
What did you have in mind?
Evil Rebecca's kind of creepy. So did Rebecca just repress the fact that she had to stay in a mental institution where she was drugged up?
Did she what?
Did Rebecca just repress the memory that she spent time in a mental institution? Because it wasn't... From that scene, I sort of got the sense that she didn't remember that until now.
Well, I think that it can happen in a couple of ways. It may be a full repression. It may just be something that she felt like was in her past and she doesn't think about much anymore. something to keep in mind is that she was probably heavily medicated while she was there. So there's probably a lot that she just doesn't remember from that
we saw
time.
her heavily medicated. Like they show her having taken the drugs, and the nurse or the orderly, whatever it is, mentions that, you know, she sings to herself. You know, I mean, good for her for standing up for her to her dad. Because
deserved.
These kind of things don't have fairy tale endings the majority of the time in real life. I have a friend of mine who, I'm not going to go into all the details, but when he was a young adult, he tried to have that reconciliation talk with his dad. And he was expecting it to go like it does in movies and TV. And people think movies and TV don't impact the way we view the world. They do. And my friend is one of the smartest people I know. He's hardworking. He's successful. He's brilliant. He's kind. He's an amazing person. So he's not like some idiot who only thinks, like, knows about TV. Like, no, that is not who this guy is. But his perception was so warped by what we all see so often on TV and movies. He expected it, you know, tears, hugs, real reconciliation, but no, that's not how it works. Oh, you have disappeared. This has been the technical problem episode on both our ends. It's been bizarre.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, you know, obviously that thing with my friend did not go the way he wanted. His father took no responsibility and was just like, I don't know all the details, but yeah, there were no hugs, there was no reconciliation. It was just, you know, as far as the dad was concerned, he did nothing wrong. So I like that the show did that. And it also made it very clear it wasn't a surprise. The surprise somewhat was Rebecca recognizing it and putting her foot down and telling him to go away. And that was a little bit like, oh, okay. But also like, yeah, Josh sucks. Like, you don't just not show up to your wedding and go join the priesthood. You talk to your fiance.
Yeah, it's a real clear example of they should not be getting married.
Yes. But also, like, shouldn't Father Broad not talk him into joining the priesthood on a whim? Like, that's not something you should do on a whim.
I did not get the impression that Father Bra was encouraging that so much as just there to support whatever his friend was deciding to do.
There is also an aspect. Sorry?
He also probably thought that that was potentially a healthier choice for him than continuing to chase after relationships.
That is unfortunately an issue with well-meaning religious people. Someone like if all religious people were like Father Bra, religion would be a overall positive thing. It's about support and kindness more than it is about telling people how to live and enforcing that on others. But at the same time, a religious person who believes hard still believes that their way of life is the best way of life. Like a priest, most priests, even if they're good, supportive, kind people, still think that the best way to find happiness is through Christ. Whether even like, so again, I'm putting a lot of motivation on a character that is a very minor character. But I know people like that. People are like, ostensibly, sure, whatever makes you happy, as long as you're a good person. But, oh, you do want to join the priesthood or become more accepting or become more religious or accept Jesus or in the context of Judaism, you want to become more religious. You want to, be more and more into it. Like, yes. Even if it's done on a whim without proper thought behind it, which means it's probably not for the right reasons.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there was some lead up to it. It wasn't completely on a whim. He had been slowly going toward that direction a little bit in the preceding episodes, asking about relationship with God, having him be more involved with his church, and talking about how much he loves being involved with his church.
That's true. That's a good point. So I guess it didn't quite come out of nowhere, but it was just still so surprising.
He didn't work up to it like in a methodical way, though.
There are a lot of people who will turn not only to religion, but religion is the most common one, because decisions are hard and life decisions are hard, and religion gives you a built-in structure on how to make those decisions. Joining the priesthood is a bit of an extreme example, but there's people I know who, and this is not a judgmental comment. This is not saying being religious is bad. Absolutely not. I know people who, one of the things that they like about religion is it gives them that framework of life. They have fewer decisions to make in life because they have strict guidelines on how to live their lives already.
Yeah.
And, okay. But choosing that for that reason, especially on a whim, and especially something as serious as joining the priesthood, on a whim like that, I did not see that coming. Yeah. Seeing Rebecca running towards that, I knew obviously she wasn't going to jump because there's a season 3 and 4, but it was done so well that a part of me was like, does she try to jump and survives injured, whatever? That was a lot of trauma coming up all at once, and rational thinking is not in the table. It's not, on the table at that point for people going through reliving
Did you catch the lyrics in the court case?
Yes. I have no underlying issues to address. Yes.
She's just a girl in love.
Yep. I've mentioned this before. I have mental and physical issues, and progress is not linear, but sometimes it can be the absolute hardest when things seem to be going well and what you want is good, but then you hit a hard roadblock or a turn for the worse or something. It can sink you down way lower than you ever were before. If let's say you started here and you've been making steady progress and you hit a bit of a bump and you go down a bit, okay, but you pick sort of, but when things have been going good for a while and you've been making steady progress, and then you hit a bump here, so you haven't necessarily had a bump in a while, it's very easy to just crater. That happened to me about 10 years ago when my physical health issues first started. I was, after a year of doing really poorly, I was starting to really do better. I was exercising more than I'd been. I was getting back to my previous, athletic build and weight. I was exercising, I was running, I was eating better, I was being more social, I was working. But I didn't realize how fragile this all was because I injured my knee. And that moment had such a impact on my recovery and on my physical and mental health. From that moment on, it was all downhill for a very long time, because it felt like all of the work I'd been doing for the past 6 months, 8 months to get my life back on track, what was the point? And all it was just a freak knee injury. I was doing a chin up, the bar fell, and I landed on my knee. If you're mentally well and things are good, that sucks, but it's not going to be much more than a blip while you recover. So but for me, it sank me into the deepest depression I'd ever been in my life. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was eating horrendously. I put on huge amounts of weight. I wasn't exercising. I stopped working. So I feel like that's sort of a similar thing to what happened to Rebecca. Everything was going so well, but because she hadn't addressed the underlying issues, it was built on a very rickety foundation. So when something knocks, piece of that foundation under, it all crumbled. And you could see that in her face, in the way she just collapsed, the way she almost, jumped.
Yeah.
So I guess, a reminder to our viewers, progress isn't linear. And I don't know, make sure you have a good support system and make sure those foundations are strong as best you can. We all have underlying issues to address. I do like the fact that Trent ended up not really playing much of a role in the end, because Josh didn't open the Rebecca Bunch file.
Right. Yeah, he tried to be the impetus, but he wasn't.
He really wasn't. It was Josh would have not gone through with it with or without that secret file. Trent didn't matter. And I actually kind of like that. You can want to be the villain or integral, but no, sometimes you don't matter. And like, especially if you're trying to be a bad person.
Thoughts on season 2 in general and where the show is overall?
Well, they're very much veering in, like, much heavier leaning into the mental health aspect, the traumas that brought Rebecca to who she is, especially later in the season. I like that we are seeing others go on with their lives and snippets here and there, like Valencia with her struggles, and maybe finding something that could be very good for her. Heather sort of finding her thing with the Miss Douche, you know, having some success, moving out of her parents' home, things like that. Why Joe and Daryl's relationship I really love. Whether it works or not, I love how it's been portrayed. Curious to see where that let's have a baby thing goes in season 3.
Yeah.
The whole Nathaniel Plimpton subplot was interesting, because in the end, I feel like it kind of could have been removed and it wouldn't have had a massive impact on the way the story played out. Like, there were a few things here and there, but Rebecca spent so little time at work that the fact that she had a new boss only mattered. And like, in the episodes where he was featured, he mattered. But in the overall, like, you could almost take out a couple of those episodes and just replace it with, oh, we have a new demanding client, and like, Rebecca, we need you, instead of a new shitty boss. So I don't know, like, I liked the character, I liked some of the interactions, I liked how he was a foil at times, but I might have enjoyed some of his time being given to Josh. I might have enjoyed some of his time, well, yeah, mostly to Josh. I think Josh needed a little more development and screen time this season. I talked about it, I think, in a previous episode about, like, yes, it's Rebecca's show, so Nathaniel was an important foil for her. But because Josh is such an integral part to the show, I feel like there were a few things that could have been fleshed out a little better.
I agree.
Yeah. About Nathaniel or Josh, or a bit of both?
I think that the show could have benefited from fleshing out some of their side characters a little bit, particularly their characters of color. I feel like there's been a lot more focus on the lives of the white characters and less so on the characters of color.
Yeah, Heather got a little bit early on, but then she just kind of became a friend character who didn't do very much.
Yeah, she disappeared into the background for a lot of it.
Yeah, Valencia also. I mean, she came back a bit at the end. I would not have minded a little bit more of a Rebecca and Valencia relationship building. Heather really, I feel, got the shaft there. Like, she really, like, fell into the background. And as I said, like, Josh, I just, not even from a perspective of representation, but just as the importance of his character, he could have gotten. I think the season, from a story, not just a representation perspective, but a story perspective, would have benefited from a bit more focus on Josh.
It
love
certainly makes it
No, go
clear that our main character is Rebecca this season. Like, we're not getting a lot of the life stories that from the other characters. So
especially later in the season, like, they all got, like, Paula got a bit with her and her husband, but even still, like, aside from the beginning and the end of that, most of the in-between was really just about Rebecca and her relationship with Rebecca. Which at the end of the day, like, it is Rebecca's show, not just because it's Rachel Bloom is the showrunner and it's her show, but like because it is about Rebecca. Like, she's the main character. She's But yeah, I agree. It could have used a little more focus on some of the secondary characters, especially some of the POC characters.
That said, I do love Nathaniel. Now, I don't know how much of that is a result of this season and how much is later seasons, but love Nathaniel.
Okay. I do like his growth. Like, he's still not a good person, but you can see the outline of a good person there. I feel like there was a less of an emphasis on music in season 2 than there was in season 1.
There were some good ones though.
Yeah.
Love Triangle.
Oh, Greg's goodbye song. I forget what it's called.
Shit Show.
Shit Show. Oh, that was so good.
There was the I Just Want to Tell You That I'm Sorry song. The like 80s ballad. But You Go First. I really liked. I had that one stuck in my head.
Who sang that? Whose was that?
I'm trying to. It was a Paula and Rebecca duet. And I just wanna tell you that I'm sorry. Wow, it's really weird singing when I have the echo in my ear.
I'm just looking up the song list. Tell Me I'm Okay, Patrick. I like that one. That one spoke to me. Yeah, It Was a Shit Show was one of my favorites for sure.
Of course, the Wins. Santa Ana Wins.
Oh, of course. Wins.
And I actually liked Duh. Duh.
Oh yeah, the Math of Love Triangle song. That was amazing. Like, we're all gay. I remember that. That was funny. Honestly, like, because of the way we watch the show, sort of like spacing it out over time as we react to it for these videos, I forget a lot of the songs. But so I'm like looking through a list right now. Oh, Remember That We Suffered was hilarious. As a Jewish person, as a Jewish person, that whole concept, as I discussed when we actually watched it, we break a glass to remind us that, we're still not where we're supposed to be, etc. That was hilarious. Maybe This Dream, Donna's Disney princess song.
Yes, maybe
was delightful. The Stuck in the Bathroom was just fun because it was sort of like fun seeing Heather talk for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe this dream won't be like my vibrator, breaking when I need it most.
So yeah, I guess that was season 2.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a lot of fun.
It was my absolute pleasure. I had so much fun with this. I look forward to future projects with you, with the channel. And I've loved interacting with our audience. It's been a lot of fun. I haven't looked through a lot of comments, but I occasionally will like peek around and see if I can find spoiler-free ones, and I've commented here and there. But our live show was a ton of fun. The live chat we did. Yeah, it's I had a lot of fun. I'm just so happy that you invited me to join. And yeah.
Yeah, and keep an eye out for our announcements regarding the next plans for the channel. We're going to be doing some fun stuff I'm excited about. Yay.
Yeah. And I look as a viewer, as a future viewer, I look forward to season 3. And to following along with you guys in season 3. I'll be maybe I'll pop into the comments to say hi. So our viewers, feel free to say hi in the comments.
Yeah, we'll be taking a bit of a break between season 2 and season 3, and then we'll come back with more fun stuff. Please Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon with more fun content. Yay!
Thank you all so much for the ride, and I can't wait to see what comes next.
Thank you so much, Ed.